I've watched the film Better Man, and the chances are that you haven't, because this was one of the biggest box office flops of all time. And you may be thinking, oh wow, he's going to tell us just why it's so rubbish. Only I won't, because I quite liked it actually. I'm not saying you should definitely rush out and see it. It's an absolute must. But it's decent, and it definitely doesn't deserve to be one of the biggest box office flops of all time. Now, one of the reasons it is such a flop is it cost an awful lot to make. It's a biopic of the singer Robbie Williams. And if you're American, which is about a third of you, by which I mean USA American, the chances are you haven't even heard of him. So perhaps I should explain that he was, and to some degree still is, one of the most famous recording artists in the world. He signed the record-breaking deal with a recording company for the greatest amount of money. He's the only person to have equalled the record set by the Beatles of 15 #1 albums, and for 10 years on the trot, he was the most played recording artist. So yeah, he was really big, but he never broke America. And I think one of the reasons that he didn't break America was that he was just not wholesome enough. I saw a thing on telly about his going around America having a go at breaking it, and he kept saying in television interviews completely, at least in America, completely unbroadcastable things, which in Britain people would have gone, oh, isn't he a cheeky monkey? But over there I think they just thought, don't like this guy, I don't think we can use much of this footage. So anyway, he didn't break America, but worldwide he was absolutely huge. And this film won awards in special effects, certainly not for box office returns. Now, there have been many rock biopics. You may have seen the one they did recently on Queen. They've done Elton John and Johnny Cash and Amy Winehouse and Elvis recently, and they've generally gone down reasonably well. This one didn't, though. The Rocket Man, the one they did about Elton John, cost $40 million to make and got an awful lot more back from the box office. Now, it's so expensive because almost every single shot in the entire film is a complicated effects shot, because the main character is an anthropomorphized chimpanzee. But wait a minute, you might be saying, oh no, it's Robbie Williams. Surely it'll be an actor playing Robbie Williams. No, it's a series of actors in motion capture suits playing the chimpanzee, who then gets voiced as Robbie Williams. The special effects was done extremely well by the same people who did the Planet of the Apes movie. So they've got a lot of experience in making the face on an ape look really expressive. In fact, there are a few times where I thought, I bet the special effects team made that face more expressive than the actor in the motion capture suit managed. That's a really expressive chimpanzee face, and making the main character a chimpanzee gets over a number of problems. For a start, it's set over quite a few years, and you have that biopic problem, don't you? Because you're going to have to change actors. You've got the little boy, Robbie, you've got the teenage Robbie, and then you've got the adult man, Robbie. So they would have had, in a conventional biopic, 3 different actors, and there would have been at least 2 lurches in the movie when you suddenly have to get used to the main character now having a different face and clearly being played by someone else. So you just got to go along with it. But they can have the same consistent chimpanzee face getting older. Unfortunately, they weren't anything like as consistent with the voice. In some scenes, it is actually Robbie Williams' voice, and in other scenes, it's one of a few actors trying to do an impersonation, and not always brilliantly. His voice is very inconsistent. But Robbie Williams himself did not have the time. He's still performing, he still does concerts around the world, and he's trying to bring up a family. He didn't have the time to devote to making the whole movie himself, playing himself. So he had to hand the project over to various other people. In some scenes, the chimpanzee is actually played by Robbie Williams, but most of the time by someone else. So why the heck did they make him a chimpanzee? It's never mentioned by any other character in it. It's as though we, the audience, see him as a chimpanzee, but all the characters in the film just see a person. So it's a sort of metaphor, it's an artistic statement, and I think a perfectly decent one. It's also a gimmick, isn't it? I mean, it could have gone down really well. Oh, have you seen the biopic of this guy when it's a chimpanzee the whole way through? Oh, it's really clever, it's really fun. That's an idea that could have really got some audiences, got some bums on seats, as we say in Britain, but it didn't work. I think most people went, he's a chimpanzee? Oh, that's weird. and didn't go. Now, as biopics go, it's sort of, if you forget the bit about the chimpanzee, it's sort of standard fare. If you've seen one of these rock biopics, you know, you've got the rags to riches, you've got the family issues that carry on and haunt the person into later life, you've got this sudden catapulting to fame, the elation, everything's going wonderfully, all the fans are screaming, they've got that bit, and then you've got the can't cope with fame, and then you've got the drug addiction and everything goes wrong, gets the girl, loses the girl, falls out with management, there are money arguments with various companies, all the usual stuff you've seen in every rock biopic. Yep, that's all in here. Only this time with a chimpanzee. But if you like rock biopics, it's a decent one. It's done decently well. But there aren't really many surprises in it story-wise. I mean, if you go to see a film about the Titanic, you can't say, what? It sinks? So similarly, he gets addicted to drugs. Well, yeah, most of the people going to see the film are presumably going to be Robbie Williams fans, or at least people who are reasonably familiar with the Robbie Williams story. So they'll know, yeah, he got fat, he got addicted to drugs, things went badly for a while. Now there is a bit of the storytelling which I think was possibly too subtle. And what I'm about to say may be interpreted by some as a spoiler, but again, because it's a familiar story to most people, they made the film for people assuming that they knew the story already. When you make a film about the Titanic, you assume that the audience knows it's going to sink. Well, there's a scene where the camera pulls focus to something on the floor in the room over there, and it seems really significant. It's a really big focus pull, and it's looking at these things on the floor, and I could not make out what they were. Is it a pile of discarded underwear? Is that a rubber chicken? I couldn't really work out what it was. And I didn't really understand what was going on the first time that I saw it. But I watched the whole thing a second time, which I very rarely do. And before doing so, I thought, I'll just check that bit I didn't quite get the first time. And I no, you don't rewind CDs, DVDs, do you? That's from the days of VHS tapes. Well, I navigated the Blu-ray to the scene and looked at that and froze it. What? No, I really could not make out what it was. But then I thought about it and deduced what it might be, and then navigated to another bit. And went, yeah! So during one of the big dance numbers, which is happy, happy, lovely music, and everyone's in big dancing, woo! During one of those, intercut with that are various scenes of other things happening. One of which has Robbie Williams interacting with his girlfriend, and they're hugging, and so obviously that's where your eye goes to. But you might not notice that she's at one point touching a mobile, which is above. It's quite a dark scene, but there's a cot there. Aha! And I thought, could those things be the things that are hanging off the mobile? Now, maybe there was a scene that got cut in which she tears them down and in a rage pulls all the things off it and throws them into the corner. And then we were reminded by that pull of focus, but we didn't get that. So we just got that, what the heck is that moment? Also, during that same dance sequence, there's a scene in a corridor. It's a dark, gloomy corridor going away from you, and there are characters in the middle, her manager, the girlfriend and Robbie, and I was watching them because they were performing, and I assumed this is all about how there's a dispute between her management and Robbie, and the management doesn't want her to have anything more to do with him, and that's actually pretty much what was happening at the time. So I thought I understood it. It all made sense. What I didn't notice was that on the left of the screen was a door, and if you look carefully, on the glass of the door it says "Termi Care." She's had an abortion. So the second time I saw it, the scene that comes next, in which he has to congratulate his friend on becoming a dad, had so much more power, as did a few other scenes later on, which you realise, it's referring to that, which I didn't get the first time. So I hope that's not too spoilery and is actually going to help some people who do watch the movie to understand it and go, right, okay. So where did it all go wrong then? Well, I think it was a major failing of marketing. I don't think they marketed it very well. I'm not saying necessarily that I know how it should have been marketed, but they needed to have come up with an advertising campaign that really explained what it was all about and the mood of it and the metaphor of the chimpanzee, because people in America, American distributors weren't very interested because they thought, well, I haven't heard of this guy, and so presumably no one else will have. Other people in other countries just went, I really like Robbie Williams, so I want to see Robbie Williams. Well, so it's a chimp. What, the whole film? That sounds a bit weird. And they didn't get over that hurdle. So the marketing had to get people over that hurdle, and unfortunately, it seems that it didn't. Now, are there other reasons? Well, one of the things that stopped me really liking it a lot is that there are a number of things that the main character does which are really quite nasty and rather uncivilized. A few times, he, for instance, after finishing a drink in a glass bottle, just lobs it into the countryside, and nobody calls him out for it. This is shown as just normal or even cool behaviour. During one of the dance routines, he kicks a football really hard into the face of an innocent passerby and then just carries on dancing. He can see what he's done. The person falls over, is clearly in pain, but doesn't apologise or anything. So again, we went to, what a cheeky monkey. Yes, by the way, I know that chimpanzees are not monkeys. Monkeys have tails, chimpanzees are apes. I know that, but it's referred to as a monkey. One of the reasons that he is a chimpanzee is that he sometimes referred to himself as a performing monkey, and he was known in the media as being a bit of a cheeky monkey. So, you know, they're leaning into that part of his image. But there are some great set pieces in it. There's a huge dance number in Regent Street. And it's significant that it's Regent Street because it's actually shot in the actual Regent Street. They had to close down the street, a major shopping street in the centre of London, for several nights. And there are hundreds of dancers, and they're all real dancers and in the actual real Regent Street. But because there's a special effect chimpanzee in among them, you sort of think, well, maybe everything's fake. And so I thought maybe it's a CG Regent Street, not because you couldn't actually shoot this in the real Regent Street. I mean, you couldn't. They'd have to shut down the street for days. Oh, and they did 38 takes of the dance scene in the piano shop, and there's a lot of work went into that, and I thank them for it, because eventually what they got, great shot. So there are some good musical numbers in it. The music of Robbie Williams. Oh, the Regent Street sequence is about Take That. Robbie Williams used to be in a band called Take That, and it's about Take That leaping to fame. At the start of the routine, they've just signed the deal, and by the end of the routine, everyone in the world knows who they are. So it's their catapult to fame dance number, but it's not to a Take That number. It's to a Robbie Williams number, which I suppose would please the Robbie Williams fans, and the number fits musically, but surely historically in fairness, it should have been a Take That number that they did that routine to. But anyway, there is this problem though, because it's all very self-aggrandizing. Even though he shows himself as a chimpanzee, oh, I'm from a poor background, oh, I'm sweary and I've done bad things and I mistreated my girlfriend and I got fat and I got into drugs, and it's a warts and all thing. It's not saying, hey, Robbie Williams is great in every way. But Robbie Williams is known for being very open about his failings and being very vulnerable. But at the same time, the whole film is very aggrandizing, isn't it? Wow, I get a 198 million movie about me. How aggrandizing can you get? And it doesn't have the Elvis or Amy Winehouse ending either. It has the other standard rock ending, which is that, eventually finds love, gets the girl, becomes a responsible father, raises the family, gets over drugs, everything's fine, and here I am on stage being, Robbie Williams, and I'm the best in the world, he says right near the end. So it's sort of trying to have its cake and eat it. It's trying to say, look, it's very self-deprecating. Look, I've shown myself as a chimpanzee. But at the same time, it's also incredibly self-aggrandizing. But I can sort of forgive it because, well, that's Robbie, isn't it? To a T.